He was not gonna let up. And I remember George is coming over. He saw me and he came over and he was very chummy, very, hey, you know, to this guy, you know, hey man, did you like the show? Completely taking his attention and focus off of me and talking to him and engaging. And as I'm trying to slip away and I notice the guy trying to, you know, get me, you know, connect with me, George is very lightly, oh yeah, she's got to get ready for the next set. She'll be back.
From sun up to sun up, I'm grinding. Put time in cause I want that money. I was made to be made, you don't play with my paper, no faking this my destiny. Smirk, gotta stay, stash it, I like new bills. Hustling has become a habit that she can't kill. Fuck the silver spoon, Phoenix got a gold touch. Catch me in the room where bitches make their own luck. Looking for a man with $1 billion discipline, cause he understands money is a fickle friend. I'm coming through and my ambition is an overdrive. Now I don't drink or smoke, but chasing money get me high. I'm a boss bitch, and I'ma grind to my heart quits.
What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl Phoenix Novell, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Musicians on Gigs. And this episode is called How to Stay Sober While Touring. I am the sober gigaholic, okay? I've never given into peer pressure, never been the kind of artist where I, you know, allowed a client or a customer to basically, you know, push me or kind of like force me into feeling like I had to do something I didn't want to do. I'm the kind of person where, I don't know, like, you know, I can be a little hot-headed sometimes, especially when I know that I'm right. And it is absolutely possible. I have gigged over a decade. I mean, seriously, like 15, 16 years performing overseas, all over, and sometimes non-stop, bouncing from gig to gig, gig to gig. And I've never been drunk. I don't know what that feels like. But I got on stage and I gave it everything I had, you know, from DJing to singing to booking bands and, you know, really getting the party started. And I've been in situations where I was expected to drink or, you know, shove this shot and this and this. And I would take it, thank you so much or whatever. But there are tactics and ways in which you can maintain your sobriety, you know what I'm saying, if you're not interested in drinking, and not offend the clientele. And so let's get into it. All right, first and foremost, you want to accept everything, you know, but the cool thing about being an artist, right, especially in the beginning of the gig. In the beginning of the gig, a lot of times people don't know you, they want to impress you, and you're at a nightclub. Let's not confuse the truth here, and let's not beat around the bush. We are performers, but we are working in establishments that are usually selling other things. So we're the ones that usually lull them into the venue, you know, with our siren sounds, with our great music or whatever, and providing a source of entertainment for them to either buy food at the restaurant or buy drinks, okay? Let's just make that clear. So we are a part of this establishment. It's not just for them to come in. Most of the time, I don't think I've ever worked at a venue where it was just us singing and you pay to come see. No, usually you come in and you see the band, you also are expected to buy drinks and food maybe. And so, all right, so a lot of times people want to express their gratitude for your artistry by buying you drinks. Sometimes they'll tip you, you know, they'll just throw money up there on stage or tip the band. But a lot of times they want you to come to their table. They want you to drink with them. They want to toast to you. Maybe it's their friend's birthday. Maybe it's their girlfriend's, you know, maybe they're having a bachelor party, a bachelorette party, some kind of event. And they want you to kind of like shout them out and toast up and make a big announcement in a big scene about whatever they got going on in their life. And as an entertainer, as a performer, you got to make them feel like they're special. Like that's a part of it's a part of the job to make them feel like, oh my God, thank you for coming and spending your very, very precious, amazing, special day with us here. You could be anywhere. So thank you. So a lot of times, you know, when I was on stage in bands as well as managing bands, I'm like, hey, you know, at the end of the show, at the end of the set, Ask if there's any birthdays in the house. Ask if there's any divorces happening that people have divorce parties now, y'all. Ask if there's anything that we're celebrating here that you want to shout out for. Bring people on stage, make them feel really good. But sometimes you get people who, they'll buy a bottle for the band, you know what I'm saying? And they want to, they want everybody to take a shot. They want everybody to have a drink. And the way that I always was able to deal with it, I'm not saying I never took a shot before. I've never been drunk before. But there's times where I've taken a sip, right? Like just a toast or whatever. Okay, yeah, depending. But I just hate the way alcohol tastes. That's just me personally. But I've been in situations where I've been asked to drink, and people say, "Oh, you're not drinking? Why aren't you drinking?" If you're having a situation where you're cornered like that, where they want you to douse it, and you can't use your excuse of, "Oh, okay, I don't like to drink on the job," or "I have a hard time holding my liquor," or "I need to make it. It's really easy for me to get wasted, so I'm gonna hold this for later. Can you hold this for me? Or I'm gonna take it to the bar." If those excuses don't work, because sometimes you have a really persnickety, uppity, or emotional client who really, really gets offended because you are not like throwing them back and acting like they're bestie, what I used to do, right? What I found to be successful is I got with the bartenders. All right, I got with the bartenders and I said, "Listen, I'm going to need y'all to make me a drink, a signature drink, and we'll call it the Phoenix, where it is basically a damn Shirley Temple or something where it's like soda and some seltzer and some grenadine or whatever else, non-alcoholic. And if they ask for one, you can add alcohol to theirs, all right, if they ask for one, because I don't want to make them feel like, I'm on some bullshit, because sometimes they will, "You got your own drink here, let me try it." And I say, "Hey, put some vodka in it, put something in it," but I had to devise a way in which I would not make them feel like I didn't appreciate their gesture, you know what I'm saying? And I also, look, you got clients, or you have food and F&B managers, or, who they have these high roller clientele, who they really want to impress, who they really want to keep their business. And they know how some of them people can get really obsessed with some artists. They will be like obsessed with some artists. And so they will capitalize on that, and you can't be, disagreeable. Like, it's like, "Oh, she doesn't really want to socialize." You don't want to create any unnecessary problems. But again, you have to know yourself. If you have a drinking problem, you know what I'm saying, and hey, this will probably be you probably won the lottery. Because a lot of artists, they are in heaven. They don't have to buy their drinks anymore. They get up there and do what they love to do. They're performing nightly, and they getting free drinks and free food or whatever. And look, it is usually a club owner or a venue owner's dream, because they're usually the life of the party. But somebody like me, who is a little bit more health conscious, who doesn't like to drink, but who loves to perform and DJ and watch other people have a good time, I had to devise ways in which clients did not consider me to be difficult, or I could still be, play the game in a sense, like, okay, yeah, I understand, you are going to be sometimes expected to come off stage during your break time, and they're going to want to introduce you to the high rollers, the ones who order the big tables and the VIP booth and lounges to come support you, and they bring the party, and the manager or the club owner or F&B director, they know these people personally, and they want to introduce you to them. You came all the way from overseas or whatever, and the clientele wants to meet you. And so, like I said, you got to find a way to not be disagreeable to the point where now you're not liked, and now the venue owner thought that they loved you, but you're not good for business because you're giving off this bougie air. I write about this. I believe it is in the Traveling Singer Survival Guide. Sorry guys, I am always plugging my books because I don't make this shit up. The Traveling Singer Survival Guide. I keep saying this. My books are right now exclusively available in ebook format, but I started recently learning how to bind my own books, and I have yet to bind this one because I recently got it printed out the cover, printed out all the pages. Can you see? Yeah, so I'm very excited about it. It is a huge book, but it's, like I said, it's available in ebook format right now. But I discuss in the Traveling Singer Survival Guide ways to protect your golden pipes, right? And one of the ways I believe in this book is how to deal with clients who are trying to get you to drink. And drinking is not good. Like, the alcohol is not good for the vocal cords. A lot of singers drink and they'll tell you otherwise, but this alcohol, it's alcohol, so it's stripping. It strips the natural lubrication from your vocal cords. It just does, you know. It's not healthy. And so, you know, for me personally, I was having my water. I was having my water with honey. I was just always very careful in terms of, for the most part, when it came to that. Number one, I don't want to be wobbling around, or, you know, I've seen a lot of artists drunk as hell on stage and just didn't know their limitations, forgetting words, falling, stumbling ridiculously. And the audience can be like that. Okay, they work 9 to 5, they work Monday through Friday. They're here for you to entertain them. They're not here to watch you get drunk. And no matter how much they think it's funny, all right, you're there getting paid to do a job like a pro. And after everything is said and done, after the show, yeah, you can go off and get drunk and enjoy yourself with the customers and the fans. But when you want to clock, and I ain't never play that shit. Like, do not take a drink before you hit that stage and knock off a few sets. As the night goes on, you know what I'm saying, the chances of you being wasted by the 4th set is very slim if you ain't coming in there drinking already, right? So I paced it and I learned in terms of how I allow artists to do it. But for me, it just wasn't a thing. I ran into an issue. Like I told you, like, I had my own drink. The bartenders knew it, you know, and it just so that there was uniformity, you know, and that was sometimes people will want to buy me a drink after every set, during every break. Oh, come meet this customer. Oh, come meet this person. Oh, they're from Philly like you. Oh, come meet this person. And they're like, can I buy you a drink? And if you say no, or if you say, oh, just water, sometimes there's just this look. Okay, and I'm just gonna be real. I don't want to assume and say it was a look of, like, you know, disappointment, but a lot of times they felt like it was a little, like, there was a look like, oh, really? Oh, you don't want me to? I can't, you know. But they always wanted to buy you something, and so I was like, oh, you know what? This is good for business, you know. I wasn't, you know, the drink wasn't super expensive, but, you know, it gave some. I didn't turn business away because they wanted to buy me something, but it's just that I wasn't drinking the alcohol. And so I was able to do that, get to know, spend time with them, more so than anything is spending time with them. So I spent time with them, got to know them, had my little, you know, grenadine and whatever else in the drink or whatever, while they had their vodka or whatever they had. And then that was cool for me. But you had times where they have a champagne bottle and they want to share champagne with you or whatever, and then get in those moments, I might cheers with them, take a little light sip and say, hey, I'm sorry guys, I got to get back to the stage. I'm sorry, I got to get ready for the next set. You make your exit. There's ways to do this so that you're not offensive. There's ways to do this so that you show, thank you, I'm here. They know you're there to work, right? You'll get the ones who are unruly. You can't control them. Those are the anomalies who just have this huge ass ego, or maybe they're way too wasted and they just expect to control your ass. And even then, there's a way to do it. Sometimes you might have to get a bouncer involved. Sometimes you may have to get your manager or band leader involved, and you do so accordingly without being a douchebag. There's ways to still be polite and excuse yourself, okay? But I did have one time I had a serious incident, and that was on a gig in Doha. It was the opening night of my band, and luckily the owner, I was with L Love at the time, luckily the owner George was there because it was our opening night. He's usually there when a new band premieres at a new venue for the first night. And there was a sheik, I don't know if I'm saying the word right, but it was like a royal customer that came to the venue. And there's in Doha, for those who have never been, it's almost like a world that's being created, like for the wealthy. Okay, like Like, it was almost like the Truman Show, in the sense where it was just like this fake world that they've created, just beautiful, beautiful buildings, beautiful open. I mean, it was the first place that I've ever did a gig where there was no limit to the room service we could order. I mean, we were staying in villas, okay? Villas, where every night we were carted in a golf cart to the venue. All right, I mean, the top of the line type shit. But it was our first night, and there was a sheikh and his entourage that came to see us, and it was one of his I don't know what the guy's position was, but it was somebody who worked for the sheikh who summoned the band over, and he poured us all a drink to welcome us. And I remember, I took the drink, I said thank you, and I tried to do my thing, like, okay, I just wanted to get, because I was the band leader on this gig, I tried to get, thank you. I said thank you so much, and then I tried to make my exit, and he was like offended. It wasn't even the sheikh, it was someone who worked for the, he was like, my boss, no, you have to drink. He was offended that I didn't drink all of it right there. And I had never been so uncomfortable, because I wasn't going to allow him to force me to drink, but I also didn't want to offend this guy, because again, this is like Muslim kind of, culture. And there was I think in terms of the woman and the man, there's roles that they play. There's not the same equality over there. And so I was very careful in the way that I was talking to him, because he was not gonna let up. And I remember George is coming over. He saw me, and he came over, and he was very chummy, very, hey, to this guy, hey man, did you like this show? Completely taking his attention and focus off of me, and talking to him and engaging. And as I'm trying to slip away, and I notice the guy trying to, get me, connect with me, George is very lightly, oh yeah, she's got to get ready for the next set. She'll be back. And just like that, I was able to escape. And I realized how important it is sometimes to get help. Again, you can do it in a very pleasant way. You can say, excuse me, come over. You don't have to disrespect nobody. You don't have to run away. You don't have to be aggressive. If they grab you or do something like that, then you have to be like, hey, please let me go. But it was just a matter of somebody else, a part of my team, showing that I had support, I wasn't alone, and kind of like making it clear that I had something else to do. I didn't want to, because I didn't want to say I don't drink, because I didn't know what his response was going to be. So my initial thing was, I think I took a little bit of a sip, and I was like, okay, thank you so much, I gotta go. He didn't want me to go. He wanted me to sit there and drink the whole thing with him, and maybe spend the rest of my break over there. But I really needed to go and prepare for the next set. And so that was the only time that I think my plan was a little unprepared, because one, there was no drink. This was our first night at the venue, so there was no drink prepared for me. I had no deal with the bartenders yet, and this was straight up alcohol. I didn't want to drink it. I didn't like the taste of it, but I also just wanted to appease him by taking a sip. And sometimes you don't even have to do that. If you don't want to take a sip, you ain't got to sip. You can pretend to take a damn sip and keep your mouth closed. They can't see. Okay, but again, your number one excuse is, I'm here to do a job. We're not allowed to drink during the job. Now, if half of the other band members is over there drinking, then that story might not add up real good, because everybody else is like, huh? But for me, I've over 15 years abroad. That was the only incident I had where there was like somebody who really was about to try to make a scene on me. The very first night of our show, and I was kind of like, because I knew the kind of culture differences in the way that I knew that I had to be careful. That's what I'm gonna say, because I don't want to make it seem like, oh, Muslim, people are like that, or that they would all be that aggressive. But I knew where I was, and I knew that I was around, I was in an area where women are not necessarily they don't have the same rights as a lot of other people and a lot of other cultures do. But that is my go-to. My go-to is to have a bartender, have a slew of them know and have a drink on standby ready for you. These are the ingredients. If you like a little bit of alcohol, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But me, if this is videos about sobriety, okay, where you don't have to look like, oh, everybody has to respect my sobriety, everybody has to know that I'm sober. Your band can know that you're sober. They can also help you along the way in terms of giving you a drink and pretending it's a shot and it can straight up be some damn ginger ale. Make it work. Because you could still be a part of the system and putting shots up in the air and doing the whole, call or whatever. But you don't have to be the one drinking. You could still be a part of that, but have a system in place to respect your sobriety. Okay? All right, guys. That was my latest Musicians on Gigs episode. If you have any topics, questions, or you just want to send me a message, email me at excuse me. Look at me. I got 3 series going on right now, and I was about to give y'all the email to another series, so forgive me. Any topics, any questions, any ideas, or just wanting to connect with a sister, email me at musiciansongigs@gmail.com. musiciansongigs@gmail.com. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. It's your girl Phoenix Novell, and stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.